Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 12 of Celestial Journey. I want to get started today by doing some agricraft farming. So I made some sugarcane seeds, just a simple crossbreed between seeds and beetroot, because we need sugar to make the simple stimulant, and I think that's a resource we have the least of right now. So, before we get started, actually I want to mention there's one quick config we do have to change to make agricraft, not like to make it work. Here in agricraft client settings, I highly recommend you disable your particles. In fact, I'll show you what happens if you don't. If you use sprinklers, they do this, and your frame rate drops to like 5. I suppose a reasonable option is to not use this many sprinklers, but you can't stop me. So, disable particles true makes the water particle, whoops, you have to actually save your settings. But yeah, it makes the water not kill your frame rate. So that's always a good idea. Alright, so anyways, this pack, as you can tell, has agricraft in it, which means we have seeds with stats. Now, the sugarcane I currently have on me is 111, and there is also an important config difference in this pack compared to, say, Project Ozone 3, which I played previously. If I plant this seed here and put double sticks here, when this crop breeds into this slot, which should be pretty quick because I have all these growth accelerators, cough cough, any second now, cough cough. Come on game, are you really going to do this to me? Anyways, when and if it eventually breeds over to this crop stick, it will not gain stats. A single-sided growth will never gain stats. And in fact, single-sided growth might just not happen at all. That might be why it's not. Yeah, okay. So if you put double sticks next to a single parent, it will never gain stats. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it will grow. All right, but the resultant seeds you see here is unidentified. It will never be better than 111. And in fact, the way the configs are set up, it can only be worse. Now, because you can't get worse than 111, it doesn't actually get worse. So, in order for us to make this 111 seed better, we need 2-parent growth. What I mean is, if we have seeds sitting like this, when those fully grow, then the one that shows up here will have a chance at being better. And let's see what it turned out to be. And I think the chance of growth, yeah, so that one's 212. I think the chance of growth gets better as you, as you have more parents. So what we want to do is we want to grow all 4 of these side ones, and then plant, have them mutate into the middle, because that has the best chance of triggering a growth, I think. I'm not sure if there's a difference between 4 and 2, but I'm going to assume there is, because I think there used to be in 1.7. Anyways, after a few seconds, we see that now we have one in the middle. So what we want to do with that then is we want to spread that one to the 4 sides with single sticks, which tends to be pretty quick. Man, I tested this off camera. It was happening like instantly every time. And now that I start recording, it takes it a few seconds. Anyways, once it spreads back to the sides, we can plant double sticks in the middle. And that'll spread back into the middle. And you get the point now, right? We want to automate this process because this is how you can take any arbitrary 111 seed and level it up to 10-10-10. It works for sugarcane. If I had dirt here instead of sand, it would work for normal wheat, but the way I'm doing it now takes a lot of clicking. I'm here, manually waiting for it to grow and manually breaking and replacing all the sticks. So let's see if we can automate this process at least a little bit. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too, for the growth accelerators I'm using here, I obviously have a larger number of sprinklers, and down buried underneath of these, I have growth accelerators. These from Mystical Agriculture accelerate the growth of the block 1 tile, or like in the tile at the top of the pillar. You're allowed to have gaps, so like if this one wasn't here, it would still work. Oh, well, not if it's sand, because sand has gravity. But this pillar goes down 40 in total length, because as far as I can tell, that's the maximum size that it stacks to. So underneath each piece of sand is a 40 tile pillar of growth accelerators. Alright, so our first challenge is to figure out how to automatically place both single and, if needed, double crop sticks. So it sounds easy, right? You'd expect put a mechanical user here, give it crop sticks, tell it to click. But as far as I can tell, none of these actually, it's not always on, none of these actually place the stick. Even so, top left only here, I'll fill all the sticks with, all the slots with crop sticks, and none of these do it, which is unfortunate. I think if I remember in 1.7, there was like the aim high, aim low button, you know, on the, what's it called? The autonomous activator back then. But yeah, this doesn't work. Now, it does work, I think, if I put it in this block. However, if I put it here, the crop can't grow. The crop needs an air block above it in order to grow. So, which of these is it? Activate block? No. Use item? One of these works. I swear. Or not. Anyways, my point is, even if that were to be able to place the crop stick, that wouldn't do the trick. So, our next thing I want to try is use our friend, the Ender Porcupine. Funny name, funny looking block. Doesn't stab you. But the Ender Porcupine works kind of like a phantom face. So when you look at it, well, when you right click it, you get this UI and you get to set what blocks it's linked to. Unlike a phantom face, you can actually link it to a range of blocks. And you know, if you look over here, you can see that like there's the blocks are flashing through. And what it does is actually it interacts with one block in this range and cycles through it at all times. But anyways, right now I only want to bind it to a single block. So it works kind of like Phantom Face, like I said, you know, it's as if this block were that block, but it interacts with mechanical users nicely. So you can have a mechanical user, God, I hate speed mining dirt sometimes. You can have a mechanical user click on it. So what I found was that if I do this, I can place single crop sticks. So I'll set this to redstone pulse and put a button on it so it's not constantly placing that crop stick. But in order for this to work, I have to bind it to the square above this sand for some reason. So if you look at our Ender Porcupine, it's bound to the square above the sand. If I bind it to the, like directly, or I guess what one airspace above, if I bind it directly to the space above, it doesn't work. Honestly, I can't tell you why. I think it's because of the clicking direction. Like if I put the mechanical user on this side, it doesn't work either. So I want to switch you back to this. Let's see. Use item on block, right click. Use item on block. It doesn't work if I put it on the side of the porcupine. So I think it is because it's looking from, like it's as if the mechanical user were in the highlighted block and it's clicking down. Cool. Gosh darn it. Alright, so with a setup like this, we could have it do the place of single crop sticks, right? You can imagine if we put 4 of these, let's lay them out in a manner that is at least somewhat logical, and then give each of them a mechanical user. Wow, I'm bad at clicking. And configure them, you know, to on a redstone pulse to each place a single crop stick. You can imagine how we can use that to set up the placement of the 4 single crop sticks on the side. Let's make sure that works. All right, as expected, when we activate the mechanical users with the redstone signal, they all place single crop sticks. All right, that's the first part of the challenge. Next, we have to find a way to break the central crop stick. I think that's pretty simple. We can once again use Ender Porcupines, but this time we'll just bind it to a mechanical miner, or even a mechanical user on left click. Alright, so for breaking it, this Ender Porcupine has to be set on the middle block, not one block above it, and I'm using a mechanical miner. So when given a redstone signal, it is on pulse mode by the way, it breaks the crop, harvests the sugarcane, and picks up all the bits. Cool. So next step then would be to place double crop sticks here. Now, I think that's a bit more tricky than I thought because I haven't found a way to, these can't do a shift, like a sneak click to place the double sticks, which means we have to do 2 clicks. But that shouldn't be too difficult. Anyways, let's figure it out. So in the end, placing the double crop stick into the middle required using 2 sets of users and porcupines. So first, one places the single crop stick as usual. This is bound to the tile above the crop stick, and then bound to the crop stick tile itself. This one places the cross stick. So the first one is use item on block, and the second one has to be activate block with item. Any of the other settings don't work. It has to be exactly these settings. So activate block with item. Now if you hit it again, it also knock off the existing stick. So you want to pulse it exactly once. So what we want to do then is from a starting condition of, let's say, blank, we want to pulse this, then pulse this. Then we want to manually plant our seed. Sugarcane goes here. Whoopsies. We want to plant a single stick with sugarcane. Then we want to, oh hey there, spider. We want to plant the 4 side plots by clicking this one. Now obviously we don't want to be clicking the button, that's ridiculous. But we'll, automate the activation of that. Anyways, then we break the middle one by clicking this one. Then we do in reasonably quick order, right? Because if you click this and wait too long before clicking this, you plant a single stick, which will spread into it from the sides. You don't want that. You want to go this, that. And in fact, that even took too long. So let's consolidate that into a single button press for now. I experimentally determined that a 2-tick delay appears to be ideal for this. If it's 1 tick, sometimes this one isn't done placing by the time that activates. So let's see if I can position myself so we can see it run. It's pretty hard to, you can just barely see it in the upper right corner there. When I click the button, the double crop sticks get placed, and sometimes very quickly they get spread into. So from this state, right, our plan is we have to break the 4 sides. So we need one more step because I think these can only place on the 4 sides. Cute. All right, 1 second. All right, so these mechanical miners now, they have to be on a separate set of porcupines, and these are bound directly to the 4 blocks in the sides. You can kind of just barely almost see it. I did notice that the power drain for these ender porcupines is basically just the sum of the absolute values of these numbers. So if you want to minimize your power drain, you can put them closer. But right now I'm still more in the proof of concept stage, so I'll deal with that later if I care. Anyways, press the button, it mines the 4 of those. So from here, what we'd want to do then is, let's see, I think it's this one to place 4, let them fully grow, this one to break the middle, this one to plant a new thing in the middle, wait for that to grow, and then dot. Anytime. As soon as that spreads to the middle, we want to press this one to break the 4 sides, right? There we go. And eventually, we'll get 10-10-10 seeds in here. So if we repeat this process a few more times, one thing I should do, I guess, if I rearrange these a little, we can go left or right. So I just have to swap these 2. In fact, I'm going to go do that right now. All right, once more from the beginning. So let's assume we start from nothing. Then we would manually plant the first crop stick in the middle. Then we go on the sides. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Wait a while. So I still have to come up with a way to detect when the crop spread to the middle. I could just wait long enough that I'm confident that it will, 30 seconds. I think the odds of it not spreading in 30 seconds are pretty slim, although here I am probably going on 15 seconds and it hasn't spread yet. I've tried things like observers and they don't tend to work reliably for this. But I'm down to try, experiment and find out. Anyways, any second now, once that spreads, we'll hit this one and start the process over again. But it does seem like spreading onto single sticks is a very fast process that we can rely on. It'll consistently happen quickly. There we go. And 4. All right, cool. So let's see if we can come up with a way to more consistently detect when that central spread happens. So I had the idea of using the extra utility scanner. It'll basically detect if at least some properties of the target block. So my thought was, if I have it such that, let's see, right, if it detects that the central block is an agricraft crop, it'll emit redstone. But what happens is it'll happily detect empty crop sticks as if it were an actual crop. So you see there's empty crop sticks now, and it is emitting. So unfortunately that won't work. That would have been a very nice solution, but alas. I think I'm all out of ideas. I've tried stuff like I tried like a vanilla observer. The observer will detect when the crop sticks are placed. So if you see it flash over there, right? You see it flash once when the crop sticks are placed, but when the crop spreads into it, it doesn't do anything. I think because if you look on the right side there where it says the tile name, it's agricraft crop with metadata 0 the entire time. So I think the state, whether it's a double stick or there's a seed in it, is serialized in the MBT data, not the metadata. Which unfortunately we don't have like a mod like thermodynamics, or not thermodynamics, integrated dynamics that can read the MBT data of arbitrary tile entities. So yeah, this doesn't work. I tried a comparator, both directly hooked up to here, which doesn't give any reading, or even hooked up to the Ender Porcupine. I tried hooking an observer to our Ender Porcupine. No dice. So I think the only thing left is Dead Reckoning, and just waiting long enough that you're reasonably confident that it works. Because if you fire it off too early, right, the failure mode is that you end up so if this is like in this state and then you break the 4 on the side, you've just stopped the process altogether and you have to come and restart it. So I think I'll err on the side of waiting longer than I have to. Anyways, with that plan in mind, next I just have to set up the redstone logic to pulse each of these in order and have, some semblance of timing control. So this is a 2-step process. First, we have a set of counters. They are both, so all 4 of these counters are 4 stages, and we just start with the first one set to 3, so that it'll activate next. 2, 1, and 0. So when each time they receive a redstone pulse, they all advance by 1. So the first redstone pulse causes this one, right, to go from 3 to 4, where it resets to 0 and activates, placing the sticks. Next one, click the button, causes this to activate, breaks the one in the middle. One more time, places double sticks. What, did that place double sticks, or did that only place a single? Looks like it only placed a single, didn't it? I tried changing the timing on this. Shoot. All right, let's just continue on. I brought that down to 1 tick, and then I was trying to fix something else, whatever. Anyways, one more click, breaks the 4 on the sides. Rinse and repeat. So first click, plants the 4 sticks on the sides. We want to wait a few seconds. Second click breaks the one in the middle. Third click plants double crop sticks. It still didn't plant double crop sticks. Why? What's it doing wrong? I don't know. I'll debug that in a second. But then fourth click resets to the initial state. So now that we have our state machine essentially set up, all we have to do is set the timing for it. And that's what this sequencer will be for. So it'll be each time it receives a redstone input, will be like, I have the delay set to 20 or 1 tick or 1 second. So we'll pulse once to activate that, wait a little bit. So after we activate this, we want to wait a few seconds to give the crops time to grow. Let's call it 5 seconds maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We pulse it again to activate the one in the middle. That breaks it. then we need at least 1 second of downtime. We pulse it again to activate these, the ones that should place a double sticks in the middle. And then we want to give it, I'd say about 30 seconds, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, they're 8 each, 15, 23, somewhere around there. So in theory, if I press this button once, we should see, all right, a couple seconds later, it should activate again, breaking the one in the middle. It's all right if it doesn't get all of them. It doesn't necessarily have to, you don't, it doesn't have to spread to all 4 crop sticks in stage 2. I still have to fix the problem where this is only placing single crop sticks for whatever reason. And now we just, if we had the one probe, we could see which step it was on. But since we have Wayla, we can't. But soon enough, maybe another 10-ish seconds, it'll activate these mechanical miners, break the 4 on the side, and hey, would you look at that? We're back right where we started. And then if we just, apply a timer here to restart this at the end of the loop, then this process will be automated. So first, let me fix this bug. I think I figured it out. The output of the counter is a weak redstone signal. So while it can power the block, it'll power the block and then this can read it, the block cannot power the repeater as a result because it's not receiving a strong signal. So I think the trick is if I move you back a tile, I hope you kept your settings. 4.1, is that right? 4.2, yeah. And then I put a repeater here. That'll cause it to be a strong redstone signal when it reaches that. So, because I was testing with the button and it seems to work fine. So I'm going to set you back to 1 tick. It reduces a chance of the, the growth, spreading to it while it's still a single crop stick. So ideally, if this works consistently, I want to leave it at 1 tick. And I'm going to test with the button a handful of times just to be sure. But it seems to be working. So anyways, let's start back from the initial state of planting a crop seed. Now, we've been doing, at least I've been doing testing long enough that I'm pretty sure these are 10-10-10s. It doesn't change, it doesn't change the way the farm works, so I'm good to keep testing with them, but just shows how long I've been tinkering with this project. Anyways, I guess let's do it the real way. Hit the button. Whoa, mouse acceleration. Alright, so far so good. I like it. I just really wish I had a way of timing this step better. Alas. I suppose if you do have any ideas, do let me know in the comments. Or I guess I haven't mentioned it yet, but I have made a Discord server. Link is in the description. You can bug me about anything there. I don't know. If you enjoy playing bridge, you can find me for a game every now and then. And that is a fail case that I was hoping to avoid. What happened was that because the crops hadn't spread in 30 seconds, we ended up picking up the seeds on the sides before they spread to the middle. Gosh darn it. I guess 30 seconds, this isn't long enough. I need to find out, what's the... I mean, it'll be a normal distribution of expected times, right? But at some point, there's a threshold at which I'm willing to say, there's a 99.999% chance that it's spread by then, and that is an acceptable outcome. But apparently that number is greater than 30 seconds. All right, I bumped the time here up to, I don't exactly know how many seconds this is. It's probably somewhere in the vicinity of 50. Basically, from this tick to that tick is the time it has to spread in the middle. And because it's automated, I don't mind waiting a little bit longer. I set it up, walk away, and come back eventually. I also added some lamps here, so I can at a glance tell what state it's in. Because when I want to abort the process, essentially what I have to do is turn that off, click this button until it's in this state. I want that to be the final state. And then I can, put a new seed here and start the process over. So I guess to prove that it works, actually there's one more thing I have to do before I'm ready to prove that it works. And that is automatically make sure these are stocked with crop sticks. And I guess automatically take the items out of our 2 breakers and put them into, a buffer chest of some sort. So let me hook up a bunch of item conduits. So for providing the crop sticks, we have a crafter. We're providing it directly with wood, and it'll craft it all the way down to crop sticks. This way we avoid, once again, the dreadful crafting card. Anyways, that crafts them into crop sticks. They get distributed amongst all the users. I'm intentionally not putting it into the miners because we don't, need crop sticks hogging up the slots in the miners, right? Then from all the miners, we are extracting the items into this chest. I'll probably end up voiding the extra crop sticks here. It's just too much of a hassle to try to reuse them. Eventually what will happen is we'll get a bunch of small stacks of seeds, but at the end, when they're 10-10-10s, they'll just make a big stack, and that's how we can kind of tell it's done. So let's give this a run with a brand new seed type, see if we can demonstrate that it actually works. So we have to use dirt to plant most seeds, and let's do wheat. Whoopsies. Wheat is useful enough, right? We also don't have to worry about water because the water comes from the sprinklers. So just so that we're all on the same page, we'll start with, I imagine these are 111 wheat. Yep, 111s. We plant them here, and then we turn it on. And at this point, I'll just, let this run for a while. We'll come back in maybe 10-ish minutes. I expect that's how long it'll take for it to finish. Takes a little over a minute a cycle, right? 64 seconds a cycle. So 10 cycles may or may not be enough, but we'll find out in about 10 minutes, I guess. In the meantime, I set up the world's smallest farm. It is a single crop stick gathered by Plant Gather. The Plant Gather produces liquid sludge. I just throw that away and we put the results in a drawer. With that, though, I think we can set up our simple stimulant crafting table while we wait for our wheats to grow. These simple stimulants, we start with our raw ingredients: gunpowder, redstone, glowstone, bronze ingots, which are made right here from in an alloy smelter, and sugarcane. Turning the sugarcane into sugar is easy. We could technically use a centrifuge and double it, but I don't care. We produce plenty of sugarcane. Bronze into bronze blend is just put it through a pulverizer, and then we put all the ingredients into an alchemy table using a limited item filter, saying, don't put more than a stack of each in here. We can also shift left click the last slot to lock it so nothing can go in there. That just guarantees that something won't come here and jam it up. And we have to manually put our blood orb in. When it's done, the items, the final product, extract out the bottom and insert into the drawer here. So if we want to use more alchemy tables, we could. In fact, I think soon we will need more, but let's see. We can't directly stack them because we have to extract the bottom, right? So every other row, we can put an alchemy table, and we basically just copy these conduit settings to here and this conduit setting to there. I'm not going to do that quite yet because we don't have enough life essence to, constantly craft these. And in fact, I'm actually going to take this life orb out for now because we don't need, I'll put it in the enemy system. We don't need to be crafting these right now, but it's good to have the automation set up for later. Once we have our life essence automated, then this will come in handy. We can just drop an orb in there and this will craft. But this system will produce simple stimulants until, it fills up the drawer. Awesome. Now let's take a look back at our wheat here. Looks like it's still growing along just fine. One thing I want to mention is right now we're not using maximum growth acceleration, right? We have all the growth crystals or whatever, the growth accelerators here, but we do not have my favorite block, the imaginary time block. The imaginary time block will basically, I realize our problem with it not spreading to the middle fast enough will be solved with the imaginary time block, because that adds so much growth acceleration that it'll basically guarantee that the spread happens within the span of a couple seconds. So anyways, let's check the status in here and see how things look. I should not have sorted, but the seed we have the most of is most likely to be the one that is 10, 10, 10. Although the seed that most recently was inserted is also likely. I'm just going to check both of these and see if either of them are perfect statted. If I didn't sort the one that was most recently inserted. Alright, so these are 9, 10, 10, which means I suspect these will be 10, 10, 10. Would you look at that? 10, 10, 10 wheat seeds. So if we want, we can replace all of those. For the time being, I'm just going to set these back. We can then go ahead and throw everything else out. Now, this step is still kind of manual. Once we're done, we flip this switch, hit this button until the light is on the last one. And then we can replace this with whatever we want to grow next, right? So since we just did wheat, let's do pumpkins. Plant a pumpkin here. Set that up. And then once we have that set up, we can turn this switch back on and it'll do pumpkins next. Now we can take our 10, 10, 10 wheat seeds. I should make a chest specifically for perfect statted seeds. Let's grab one. And we'll put it just above this, I guess. So we have wheat, and we have somewhere here sugarcane. Awesome. So this process, it took a little while to set up, but I'm happy with how it performs, especially since we don't have the imaginary time block yet. I know some people have said in this pack, because we don't have the AgriCraft farming station, that it is, quote, impossible to automate the production of 10, 10, 10 seeds. And I think this is a demonstration that it is indeed very much possible. Takes a little work, but I mean, what's the point of playing Minecraft if you're not willing to build systems like this, right? These are the automation systems that really set this pack apart, and I love it. All right. Anyways, let's see what we can move on to from here. Well, unfortunately, I took a look and we are at the time limit for today. So I was hoping to get to Britannia, but looks like that'll have to wait for tomorrow. On the other hand, having access to all these seeds means that when we actually do Britannia, it'll be much easier. So yeah, I hope you liked this episode. I'm glad we were able to build a very intricate and very cool system. And I'm very happy with how well it works. Anyways, I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.